Hello there, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another episode of the post-match therapy session because we are here to discuss Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0 in the FA Cup semi-final. And honestly, guys, I'm struggling. I am struggling. You can see I'm here by myself today. I don't have so much time, so I didn't have time to bring guests in. And I wanted to bring one in, but a lot of people obviously at the game and other plans. And I was like, okay, if I don't have much time anyway, I'll just stream by myself and get my thoughts out there. I'll be for like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I'm broken. I'm a broken man is what I am. Honestly, like, I'm this close to stopping watching football. Like, obviously, we'll talk about Jackson. We'll talk about Chilwell at the end. We'll talk about Mudrik's cross or whatever the fuck that was. We'll talk about the manager. But what's the point in rules and the sport anymore? Well, what's the point? Like, you're now allowed to just move your hand towards the ball, touch the ball, and it just not be a penalty? Like, this is the most blatant handball penalty. Like, you know how for years and years and years in football, there's been arguments about handball rules. It's been changed like this. It's been changed like that. Everybody's saying, oh, no one even knows what the rules are anymore. This one, every idiot can see ball, hand moves to ball. That's a penalizable penalty. It's just, what's the point anymore? We're robbed. We got absolutely robbed. But we also robbed ourselves. Oh my days, man. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in, appreciate you very, very much. Let me bring this up because isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. RD, Jazzu, JP, Kian, Ukrud, RD, again, future Ballon d'Or. I'm not sure about that one. And Zonzi. That's a bit hard. Did make me laugh, though. Joel, shout out. Lucas, JM, Matty, Kujo, Criminal, Musa, Moffligerian. So I'm going to try to pronounce it. Nicole. Man, I'm so done. I don't even know where to start is my problem. I don't even know where to start because when I look at the lineup, I'm like, okay, what is he doing? Then you see the game and you're like, well, we had so many chances. Jackson on his own should have scored 3 goals. Obviously, Palmer had a decent chance as well. We had that not given penalty. We had plenty of chances to score. Let's be honest. Man City also had plenty of chances to score, which they didn't take themselves. Petrovic made a fair few good saves. It was an open game. Like, we had City closer to losing, really, than Real Madrid did. And Real Madrid actually went past them. But when you don't take your chances and the referee just robs you, well, what is it going to be? But, guys, man. See, a lot of people have a go at me very often, less so in this stream, sometimes as well. I try to get you guys from the chat involved a lot more today as well, as it's just me. So please keep your thoughts coming in. If you have questions or points that you want me to discuss or talk about, please put them in the chat. Obviously, if you want to use the super chat function, always massively appreciated. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, would be massively appreciated. But I very often, in particular on Twitter, get criticized for being too negative. I feel at the moment I'm too negative for the positive people, and I'm too positive for the negative people. But still, yesterday I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance we could win because obviously City had that Champions League game against Real Madrid. They lost there in extra time, so physical strain by playing extra time, and they weren't gonna to rotate the whole team. Plus, on top, obviously the psychological just dampener of going out in that situation and the way they did. But we couldn't use it. We couldn't make use of it because what can I even say? What can I even say? Wing with the super chat. It says, my boy Nico let me down today, shaking my head. Twitter fatality. I'm not sure if it's Twitter fatality. Men Silva in tears, so sad is he? I didn't even see that. Thank you, Wing, for the super chat. But yeah, Nico let us all down today. Honestly, guys, I don't even know where to start. Let me bring up the lineup, okay? Let's talk about the lineup. Why did we line up like this? Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, please let me know your thoughts. Please let me know. Gallagher was on the left because when it initially came out, I and many others thought Palmer was going to play the false 9, but Aweke on the right. Gallagher is kind of the number 10, and Jackson was going to be in the left wing. Turns out that wasn't the case. Turns out we obviously had Gallagher on the left. We pressed kind of as a two with Jackson and Palmer. Madueke was on the right. How Madueke keeps his spot in the team after that penalty fiasco in the last game, I don't know. What does that like? If you can't behave like that and then start a FA Cup semi-final 4 days a week after, why should anyone bother trying in the future? Because clearly it doesn't matter how you behave. It doesn't matter whether you're disciplined. It doesn't matter whether you play well. Like, Madueke was dreadful in the last game. I know people were hyping him, but he did nothing other than win corners, the same as today. And all this means when Madueke plays in the right as well is because he keeps hugging the wing, is that Gusto can't attack properly. So not only do you put Madueke there, who's a bit of a waste, you also ruin it for Gusto behind him because the space that Gusto needs to attack and to be a threat is occupied by his own teammate. And then on the left-hand side, where we had miles and miles and miles of space to attack, we have the fastest player in the world who happens to be a left winger on the bench. Now, am I saying Mudryk would have won us the game? Maybe not. Would he have even played well? Maybe also not. But at least it would have been a chance. But like this, we had Gallagher on the wing, so we didn't have a left side, and we didn't have a right side. And then he makes a double sub, finally, brings on Mudryk, way too late anyway. Also brings on Disasi for Gusto. Gusto seemed to be a bit injured. It's a bit of a tricky one. But then he takes both of them off. So first, we had the right side blocking each other. And then he put Palmer on the right, Mudryk on the left. Palmer always cuts inside. So then you had the space for Gusto, but then you put a centre back at right back who doesn't attack, meaning you go from the two people on the right side blocking each other to not having a right side. And also, I mean, if Gusto's injured, you can't have too much of a go at Poch for bringing someone on. He had to do something if he's injured, right? But my God, did Disasi get destroyed by Doku? Well, before that, Gusto had absolutely no problems at all with him. Not from my memory anyway, right? Would it have been better if he brought Gilchrist on? Probably not. Would it have been better had he, brought Disasi on, but put Disasi at centre-back and shifted Chalobah to right-back? Maybe it would have been better. But, yeah, it's like, honestly, just tactically, first, you block your own right side, and then you just take your whole right side away out of your whole game plan. Like, it's just mind-blowing how bad of a manager you have to be to come up with that idea. Like, let alone how long he waited for the subs. Like, we had them on the ropes. We had chance after chance after chance in periods of that second half. And he just didn't do anything. I mean, Couture Criminal says he's not injured. I just can't imagine that he took him off if he wasn't injured. Also, obviously, he went down, held the back of his knee, got a little bit of treatment, but then kept playing. Didn't really see much of him after. But, yeah, it's a tough one. In general, you know, other than where they played, was I so mad at the team? Other than that I wouldn't have played Madueke? No. Sterling is a tricky one. Usually I would have said against City, play Sterling, because against these lot, usually does turn up or has done previously this season. But obviously he's had food poisoning recently, so food poisoning can take a lot out of your body, like in terms of stamina, just energy. So maybe he just didn't have the energy to play more. Absolutely possible. But then go with Mudryk, man. And I know Mudryk has his issues, absolutely. But purely for team spirit's sake, in my opinion, after what Madueke and Jackson pulled off against Everton. But we don't have another striker, right? Because the only other one we have is injured. And David Washington doesn't count. And then the other one we had was sent to Fulham. Well, Bruyne, is he doing anything there? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you didn't have an option to not play Jackson. You did have the option to not play Madueke. But he chose to ignore team spirit and team chemistry and, you know, requirements for discipline and play him anyway. And to do the same thing that we did against Sheffield United, where we couldn't even beat the worst team in the league. And he decided to do exactly the same thing against Manchester City. And then I see people talking about, but we created so many chances. This isn't on Poch. The subs weren't bad. It's always, everyone always defends Poch. Okay, so when the players miss chances, then it's not on the manager. All right. So why was Potter sacked? Because wasn't that same thing the case for him? Yes, it was. And still everyone agreed that Potter had to go. Or every other manager we've ever sacked, it's always the strikers missing chances at the end of the day. Like, that's always the big main thing today. It's just a disgrace how we still sit here with this manager. Like, I just can't handle it anymore. Honestly, I've so little hope and faith. I just can't even bother anymore. Like, there's for the last 20 years, 25 years, being a Chelsea fan, even in bad times, there was always this like light at the end of the tunnel. Well, we'll change something and then see how it goes then. But now We're not sacking Poch. We're not sacking Poch. So we're going to have to do this again. And I'll react to a few people in the chat. JP says, what? Bro, come on. Poch can't make Jackson score. No, he can't. Absolutely he can't. But he can not take away our own right side. And he can not then ruin it after. And he can not play Gallagher at left wing. And he can use the fastest player in the world when there's loads of space to attack on the left-hand side. Again, if you don't start him, fair enough. But you could see the whole first half, the whole second half, the left-hand side was always open. If you put Mudryk there, you destroy them. I'm not saying it necessarily works out every score, but you create we already had lots of chances, but then you create so many more. And especially when you have players that struggle with finishing in high pressure and situations where they lack the composure, like Nicolas Jackson, which, yeah, it's annoying that Jackson is that way, but people are acting like it's surprising. No, Jackson's been like that all season. And Palmer has scored 20 goals, and still Palmer has had these games like, what was it, Burnley, Sheffield United. He's had these games where also Palmer can't score. This happens with young players, especially when there's a lot of pressure, when they need to shock a bunch. This happens. So what do you do about that? You try to create as many chances as you can. But what do? We put Gallagher on the left, take our left-hand attacking out of it completely, and then we do the same thing with the right. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. Again, it isn't only Poch's fault, but if anyone saying that it is not Poch's fault at all and that Poch has no blame at all, it's just, to me, it's just a bit of a joke. Like, honestly, I find it baffling that you people think this way, because how can you watch this game, see the way we play, see how we have no structure, we have no build-up, the only way we got chances today was when we managed to break the line with over-the-top balls. That was the only way we had chances today. The only way. Whenever we actually played it out, we ruined it. We ruined it ourselves, when it was Madueke, when it was Jackson, or Gallagher, obviously, constantly, the whole game. The whole game. Yeah, we can all jump in on Nicolas Jackson, but Nicolas Jackson's a 22-year-old who, until less than 2 years ago, wasn't even a striker. Well, on the other hand, you have a manager who has years and years of experience in this country. And you choose to jump in on the striker and the player, the 22-year-old player. I keep saying this, and I've said this for the last year. The people least at fault for everything happening at the football club is the players. Yes, the players make mistakes. Yes, the players miss chances. But why do they miss chances? Because they are young players who are not that good for the most part. Sure, you can be angry at that. It's Nicolas Jackson. You've seen it all season that this is his problem. The more time he has, the more composure he needs to show, the worse it gets. Once it's instinctual, he can do it. This is just how it goes, right? So obviously, first and foremost, it's on the directors, the owners, who chose to buy all of these players. But hey, judge it on a game-by-game basis. What? Judge it on... No. Why? Obviously, we're talking about today's game, but I have to judge also what I've seen previously this season, which is why it has to make me think, why would Madueke be allowed to start today? Also, Gallagher left wing against Sheffield United. It didn't work against the worst team in the league. You think it could work against the best team in the world? Or in the league, at least? I don't think so. Gallagher left wing destroyed Foden and Bernardo Silva all game, but now we should pretend as if that didn't work. See, sure, but what if you just play a midfield three and let him push over there and still have someone attack? Does that not exist? Did it not just happen then on the right side? Doku destroyed us because obviously Pep Guardiola just watches the game and realizes, so this ain't working. That's not ideal, is it? Do you know what I mean? No, of course we had the chance. Again, guys, please. Obviously, the players messed up as well. I'm saying, but the way Chelsea fans have this tendency to pile on to players. I think it's because we've given up on going against Poch. I don't know why. But sure, Jackson messed up, but Jackson's a 22-year-old striker, wasn't a striker until 2 years ago. Yes, it's bad that he screwed it up. But am I surprised that he screwed it up? No. What are you? Realistically, are you? Are you surprised by that? I'm not. I don't know, man. I have a question. So if you were 3-0 up at halftime, would it be Poch's fault? What? If we were, these hypotheticals, if we were 3-0 up, then his tactical plan would have worked. It didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because you can talk about how we could have scored 3 goals, but they could have scored 3 goals. So what if it was 3-3 then? Right? So it's just, Being rational doesn't get attention. Is that the case, Anonymous? Yeah, is it? See, I try to be rational, but what the problem is, people thinking, I'm right. Yeah, sure, I think that, but please don't just say, just needs to be rational. Explain your point. Don't just say, it's not Potter's fault. Poch can't make Jackson score. Again, no, he cannot. But that's not the only thing that happened in the game. It was a 98-minute game of football. Sure, Jackson missed chances. Again, City missed chances. So just missing chances isn't a decisive factor in the game. There's a lot of extra stuff that happens, like the tactical setup, the way that, honestly. Oh, man. Everything is rigged for City. Everything is rigged for City. Laurenz, the argument is that if he'd scored the 3 sitters, you'd have been saying manager has been crap. No, I wouldn't have said the manager's been crap, but I would have said I still don't understand why you would play Madueke and Gusto in this combination together, because they stand in each other's way. And I stand by that. Like that is the thing taken separately from the fact that Jackson had chances, because how many of those really came from the right? Yeah, the header, that was created from the right. I don't know who crossed it, I'll be honest. If someone knows who crossed the ball to Jackson for the header, I don't know. But yeah, and Gallagher on the left, sure, it helps you off the ball. But what benefit do you get from that when it hurts you on the ball and then you can't score? Like, like I will say, maybe for the last couple of minutes, I was too defensive of Jackson, but purely because I felt like the whole chat is just trying to pile on to Jackson, and everyone saying it's not Poch's fault. I'm like, if there is one individual at fault, it's the manager who controls everything. It's certainly not one player who's as an individual at fault. Of course, the chances he ruined, but why doesn't anyone think that we could have had more chances if we just set up better? Like, why isn't anyone thinking about that? Clicker chances against City, come on, no, absolutely, and he should have absolutely done better with those chances. That's not what I'm disagreeing with. I'm disagreeing with it only being Jackson's fault. You know what I mean? Like, but obviously Jackson's fucking ruined it as well. Like, let me bring up that quickly, right? Oh my days, this moment. This was actually not the moment I thought it was. I thought this was the Jackson one in the first half. This is the Chilwell one. So Chilwell at the end ruined it as well. Just because he ruined his next touch so badly. He then tried to cross and it got blocked. If he just takes a good touch, it's a square and a tap in. Unfortunately, I thought I had the screenshot ready for Jackson's miss, but I don't. So I'll bring that up in a minute if I find it. Or not miss. Well, yeah, it is a miss. But when he was essentially one-on-one with the goalkeeper, like, what is he doing? Like, seriously, guys, what is he doing? Can I see that? Yeah, there it is. Yes, there it is. All right, I'll bring this one up now. I'll have to change it as well so you can actually properly see what I am. I guess this is big enough. Like, you're in this position. A second before this, it actually looked more extreme because he was already further ahead of the City players than even on this still frame. And then he just doesn't have a left foot. But the way he dribbles, he always cuts it on the inside of his right foot. Like, if he just goes right, then at least he can still shoot on the right. But he always goes to his left, but then doesn't shoot on his left. So it's just, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. This particular match, let me get this on a comment up here. At least JP explains this point. This particular match is not a Poch. That doesn't mean that what he's done all season is acceptable. I'm just not going to put blame on the manager today when we had enough chances to win. But again, my logic is because the players create chances, does that mean the manager did good? No. The players created chances because City had problems in build-up because we pressed well. Sure, you can say that's about the manager, but have you seen us all season? Clearly, it's more about when the players read it and when they don't. City just passed it out the back badly today on occasions. But you just say it's not on the manager because we had enough chances to win. It's just a bit silly for me. But hey, I just didn't like the tactics. The subs were way too late. The subs were wrong. Again, we don't know the situation with Gusto. Did he have to come off or did he not? I don't know. He set up the players to create them, did he? Okay. So, all right. So when we create chances and they don't score on the Potter, it's the manager's fault. But when we create chances and we don't score on the Pochettino, it's the player's fault. Weird. Strange one, that. Don't know how this works. But anyway, if you think the problem is Poch, then you are mistaken. The truth is that the players are not quality players. Honestly, if anyone after this season still thinks Poch is anything other than a fraud, I can't help you. Honestly, I can't help you anymore. He injures our players. He ruins our reputation. He doesn't require discipline from his players. What can I say, guys? I'm sorry. Like, sure. If you guys want to sit there and say, oh yeah, Poch isn't at fault, well then, yeah, suit yourself. If you think that makes you happy, maybe it's a coping mechanism for a lot of people, because a lot of people know we're not going to have something, like he's not going to go anywhere, so we're going to have to deal with it again. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. Poch is building something. Poch is building something. Okay, so players that are all 20 years old, essentially, who have just been thrown together like it's a roll of a dice a year ago, getting better and playing together more and more. That's now purely the manager. No, even if you didn't even have a manager, these players would have started playing better together, obviously. The penalty quarrel was a symbol for Pochettino's tenure. Exactly. And what does he do in the next game? Start both players. Again, Rich Jackson doesn't have another option, but with Madueke he does. But this is all you need to know. The fact that Madueke got to start today, before the game even started, we were already done. But purely doing that, the whole team spirit is just gone. It's just gone by making that decision, in my opinion. Tuchel won the Champions League with the Chelsea team that was 9th in the table. Okay. And Xabi Alonso is going unbeaten in the Bundesliga with a team that was 17th. Great. I don't get your point, unless you were one of the people that had a go. I don't know. Ricky says, how are people defending the Spurs legend, for fuck's sake? Finally, thankfully, for someone who is playing instead of Madueke. Sterling sucks. Mudryk sucks. Yeah. Whether you think Sterling sucks, Mudryk sucks, irrelevant. Last game, Mudryk had involvement, assisted a goal, should have had another assist if Palmer didn't miss a sitter equally as bad as all the Jackson ones today, by the way. But people like to forget. While Madueke did nothing other than win 3 corners. And also, again, going back to my point, Madueke stands in the way of Gusto, so he cost us attacking from the right-hand side. And then we didn't put anyone on the left, so we don't have attacking on the right, and we don't have attacking on the left. Brilliant. Fantastic. I am not lost. We get 3 clear goals today. Yeah. And City could have had 2 or 3 as well. But the chances don't always go in. It is what it is. How are we doing? Clutch badly. How are you? What am I seeing here? But you are holding Poch more accountable than the players who miss chances. Of course I am. Of course I am. Because the players have 1 year, 2 years experience in their life of professional football, while Pochettino has 20 years. So who am I going to fucking blame more, man? Think about it. He's been in the Premier League for 10 plus years. Can't speak English. Can't do tactics. Honestly, you people confuse me. Why do you all love Poch so much? He's a Spurs legend. Why do you all defend him so highly? It just baffles me. But yeah. I'm so sad, guys. I'm so sad. It's yeah. Maybe I go in on the manager too much. Absolutely, maybe I do. But I've been against this manager since December, and he's not done anything better. And then we score a few goals, and people now think the manager is great. We score a few goals, and we think the players are bad. This is insane how Jackson's not getting shit on first. Jackson is getting shit on by everybody. Someone needs to be different. See, this is all you need to know. The Spurs fans saying Poch, this is all you need to know. You deluded little Poch lovers. Like, you're turning into Spurs. He's turning. Not actually, he is. He has turned us into Spurs. What? Everything. If you don't get that, that's the problem in it of it fucking self. But anyway, Chelsea are finished. Yeah, we truly are. Thankfully, you are too, because you can't defend. But anyway, my brother, you can't blame Poch for Jackson's miss. And I'm not. I am not. For the quintillionth time, there are 2 separate things to be blamed for, you know? Jackson. I don't want to sit here and defend Jackson by any means. I just don't want to be piling on Jackson. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, how he misses those. I mean, I had the one up on screen already, didn't I? I've got rid of it now. But he's 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he just slows it down, and then he goes to his left, doesn't shoot. The header. What do you guys even think, by the way, on the one with Kyle Walker? Anyone claiming a penalty at all? I don't think so. But when you see that free kick that Mudryk got at the very end, that's he gave that as a foul. Do I think that was a foul? Probably not. But if he gives that as a foul, I feel like the push on by Walker on Jackson was a foul as well. That's my only thinking. But then, what can you do with these refs? I mean, can I get the handball up? Grealish handball. Let's see if we find something. Surely we will see. Surely there's a picture somewhere. There we go. I mean, to be honest, it's not the best picture because you kind of can't really tell how badly or dead it hits his hand. But it did hit his hand. And he moved his hand was like further up first, and then he moved it down to the ball. Like, that to me, whether it's Poch, Jackson, or anything else, this to me is the biggest disgrace today. Because not only didn't we get a penalty, we didn't even get a corner. So obviously the ref didn't see the touch, so therefore, and VAR doesn't change a decision to take a corner. Doesn't change the decision from goal kick to corner, obviously. But sorry, how can you see that and not give a penalty? Like, again, obviously, we might have taken a penalty, we go 1-0 up, we might still have lost. We might have gone to extra time, we might have lost 2-1, who knows, right? Absolutely. But if that's not handball, what is the point of VAR? Like, people say, oh, we need VAR, you can't get rid of VAR anymore and stuff. And yeah, you can't. But honestly, you might as well just stop playing by a rule book. You might as well just stop having referees, especially with how many injuries we have anyway. We could just turn it into like WWE or UFC and just all try to kick each other to death and see last man standing, who has more players at the end, who can still walk. Do you know what I mean? Because clearly rules aren't abided by anyway. So what's the point? Exactly, Supreme. Why does Ozzy? What Supreme said? Pochettino is completely at fault for his loss, but why does Ozzy? Why? So it is an interesting one. It just depends on whether Gusto had to come off. If Gusto had to come off, how many other options did he really have? Like, it's funny that you guys, or a couple of you at least, picked out that as like a problem with Poch. Well, that to me is like the least big of an issue, because I'm like, well, if Gusto has to come off, he has the option of Disasi or Gilchrist. Who else does he have? Sure, you could say the academy guy. I never remember his name. Achom Peng, is that it? I'm saying it wrong, I think. But that goes back weeks, right? Like, if that should have been an option, it should have had to be an option weeks ago for him to be better in. Today was way too late, obviously. But if he brings Gilchrist on or Disasi on, does it make that much of a difference? If he brings Disasi on and puts Disasi centre back and Chalobah right back, there's no guarantee that changes anything. But to me, it's just like, if you have to take Gusto off, then leave Madueke on, because then you can actually use their right hand width and get something positive out of it. But then that late on, once you bring a centre back on a right back, to take the right width away just meant we didn't have width anymore. On the left, we then had Mudryk, but we didn't make use of that. And then on the right, we just didn't. Well, all the rest of the game, we tried to attack down the right, but when we didn't attack down the centre, it's just weird. In my opinion, Jackson was looking for a penalty. No, I agree. I agree he was. But also, I mean, he was shoved. I think that's pretty clear. It's just a question of, was it enough of a shove to give it a penalty? But I don't think he was clearly enough of a shove to make him fall over. Michael Oliver knew it was handball. He gave us every decision for the next 10 minutes. Did he? Honestly, I didn't really notice that he gave us any decisions after that. What I noticed that was the City kept fouling us, and it was either not even giving us free kicks, or situations like when Walker kind of went stud first into Gallagher's upper body. Again, not even given a foul. Like, it was just crazy, wasn't it? Like, it's just unbelievable. What am I hearing here? We got robbed, but shot ourselves in the foot today. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I thought the ref wasn't on our side. Shock. The ref wasn't on our side. What a surprise. Laurenz, one commentator said it's not handball because the shot was not. Well, I don't know what channel you were watching on, but that's ridiculous. Cucurella can go right back, Chile left back. To be honest, that is a shout. Honestly, I hadn't considered that, JC. That is actually valid. Yeah, no, that is valid. Yeah, no, I'll agree. That would have been a better decision. Fair play. A Chelsea player cannot comfortably dribble 2-3 players. That's a bad team. Sure. So Jackson is obviously the problem today. Wow, that was 0 out of 10. Yeah, no, that really was 0 out of 10. Gilchrist, or perhaps shift Cucurella at the right back. Yeah, no, that's fair. Guys, if we had a striker, we'd have won a trophy already this season, and we'd have been in the FA Cup final. That's the reality. Yeah. I'm just gonna say, let's wait for the summer. Let's wait who we sign, because we will sign a striker. Whether it's Osimhen, whether it's going to be somebody else. But remember when we signed Lukaku for 100 million and thought that would solve everything? It didn't. So, I mean, it's easy to say, if only we didn't have this striker, but I don't know. Like, obviously Jackson ruined it today, absolutely. But I'm just not sure if it would be so much better with anybody else. Because with the types of chances that we, obviously, a different and a better striker scores the chances today. But I'm more talking about the accumulation of things, right? But yeah. If Gusto really had to come off, I'd play Cuckoo for Gusto and someone Chilwell. Yeah, no, it's fair. Absolutely. I don't know how I didn't think of that, I'll be honest. We didn't lose because Podge stopped on Dizazi low. We lost because Jackson can't finish. Sure. But at that point, it was still 0-0, my friend. It was still 0-0, my friend, and we bottled it after that. So at 0-0, yes, your striker didn't score. That means it's still 0-0. That doesn't mean you then need to bottle it at the back, though. Just saying. Especially because City would have been more tired. We should have been in a better position that if it had gone to extra time, it kind of should have ripped them apart, really, because they should have gotten more and more and more and more tired. That's all I'm thinking, anyway. Need to go down to like the more up-to-date comments. Can you speak on the midfield? All right, Fire Red, let's speak on the midfield. It's a tricky one for me, the midfield, because obviously I've said it many, many times. The way Poch deploys Enzo and Caicedo next to each other, it just doesn't really work. But when I say it doesn't really work, I'm still not sure if it's down to them. Poch didn't bottle. Yeah, Poch bottled hard, as he does every game. But the problem is, like, I always have a problem with Enzo and Caicedo together. We can't control the midfield. We don't stop counterattacks, this and that. My problem that I often have is, and especially in a game like today, it's Man City. Like, how many teams don't get run through their midfield? We know obviously Enzo is playing with a very painful hernia and playing with pain injections ahead of every game, requiring surgery. At some point when he will have that, I don't know. Will he now have it because we're out of the FA Cup? I don't know. But yeah, it's a rough one. It's a very, very rough one. Let me bring up, you know what, guys? I know it's just myself today, but let's quickly do a round of player rating, shall we? Because this is usually what we do in here. So let's do it again. But I will... Oh, wrong thing, sorry. But I do... Shall we do it like this? No, I'm a little bit too small then, aren't I? So like this. But I do want your thoughts on all of them. And if you all drastically disagree with me, then we'll change it. Petrovic, if I bring up the stats, I didn't even realize he got booked. When on earth did that happen? I thought it was good today. I couldn't have thought me him with 2 saves. Well, that's not true, is it? I remember 3 or 4 saves myself. I guess some of them maybe weren't going on goal, and he saved like crosses from being dangerous behind him. But I thought Petrovic did good. I didn't see his passing as an issue today either. I thought he actually played it out from the back quite well on a few occasions. And I don't think you can blame him for the goal. So I'd honestly probably give Petrovic like a 7.5. What do you guys think? JC says 7. Back forward really good. I agree. Before really good. All 4 of them. I mean, the Silva started a bit dodgy. Obviously, Cucurella had that really dodgy pass after like a minute or 2. But after that, it kind of got pretty decent, to be fair. Is it bad to have Caicedo and Gallagher DM and rest an injured Enzo? No, it isn't. But obviously, when you do that, you don't have Gallagher higher, then you don't have him pressing. I wouldn't want Gallagher on the left, but you want him higher to press, especially teams that play out from the back. But when you play like an Everton, like we did last week, and then when it worked so well with Gallagher in the 6, against those kind of teams who don't play out from the back anyway, then it's much better to have Gallagher a bit deeper to win more midfield duels, because it's almost pointless having him higher. So it kind of depends on your opponent where I think it makes most sense to play Gallagher, if that makes sense. A couple of you have said 7. You know what? Fair enough. I'll give you guys the 7. Why not? What else have I seen here? Here's another thing. The 2 centre-backs chosen for the semi are 2 who are leaving at the end of the season. Work that one out. Well, actually, Joe, according to reports, Pochettino actually wants Thiago Silva to stay. If he doesn't stay, then he wants an experienced centre-back instead of him, which he won't get. And I don't think Thiago Silva will stay because I don't think it will give him another contract. But that's, again, a whole separate issue. But yeah, I honestly thought the 2 centre-backs did a really, really, really good job. In particular, Trevor Chalobah. I thought it was utterly fantastic. 88% passing accuracy, 2 out of 5 long balls. Okay, the dual stats don't look great, but to me, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it just seemed really good, really strong. There was a couple of blocks and tackles that he made, which were absolutely fantastic, I felt. I'll give... It feels a bit harsh in comparison to what I gave Petrovic, but I'll give Chalobah as much as an 8. Do people think I'm overdoing it? If I give Chalobah an 8, maybe it's more like a 7.5-ish. But I genuinely thought he was really, really good. Petrovic's passing is usually garbage. To be fair, 1 he played out of play for absolutely no reason, which was a bit terrible. But yeah, our best centre backs are still the ones from Roman era. Yeah, absolutely. Of course they are. Of course they are. Yeah, see, Joe, I would actually agree with that. I would actually agree with that when I look over to Thiago. So obviously, I made that one mistake. Oh, his passing accuracy was a lot worse, only 77%. That's not good. Dual rate, very strong though. So now you know what? No, I'll give that difference, and I'll give Thiago Silva 7.5, and I'll keep Chalobah at an 8 because I do think he was ever so slightly better, especially the passing accuracy. 77% is just not enough for centre back, in my opinion. 7 to 7.5 at most. I disagree. I mean, to be fair, they did have still a fair few chances, but yeah, I still felt the two centre backs were really, really good. Miles, he's so much better. I said this on Twitter the other day. What I find so impressive about Chalobah is I think he managed to significantly mature as a player while he was injured for such a long time. He seems to become a leader now. He seems to make a lot less rash errors. Like his decision making is just better. Honestly, I'm really, really happy with him. Really, really happy. Obviously, he will be sold because pure profit. Yay! But I'd really love him to stay. I'd rather sell Badiashile and Dizazi and a lot of them, honestly. But yeah, I'll give Chalobah an 8, Thiago Silva a 7.5. Honestly, for me, our best player today was Marco Cucurella. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I'd still firmly held that thought as the second half progressed. The block for, obviously, in the end, Bernardo Silva goal, if he blocks himself a bit more like sideways rather than so diagonally, maybe he blocks it and not into his own goal. But in particular in the first half, I felt he was by far our best player. And I'm not saying the stats necessarily fully confirm that, but I felt Cucurella was the guy that helped us beat City in terms of when City pressed us. Cucurella's first time passing out through the lines was what beat City, was what opened spaces for us to attack City. I honestly thought Cucurella was really, really strong. I'm going to give him a 9. I know I'm overdoing it, but honestly, I thought he was really, really fantastic in terms of he was the guy to break City's lines for us and actually help us go forward. It was absolutely fantastic. Now, you know what? No, a 9 is overdoing it. Let me say a 0.5. I still think I want to give him a tad higher than Chalobah, but 9 is too much. I would admit. Moving over to Malo Gusto. A few of you are agreeing, so I don't want to ramble through it too quickly, but I don't have too much longer. 8.5, I'm seeing 6. He was off when it counted. In what way do you think he was off? Are you saying in terms of the block that he should have been better on the block? Or what do you mean? But because he had a couple of other blocks, he cleared one on the line after Phil Foden went around Petrovic. Petrovic is good on that occasion too, by the way. And he blocked another one off the line as well. Gusto won, he quit. Well, he clearly didn't quit, but Thomas is clearly a bit upset today. Gusto lost the most duels today. Okay, only 2 out of 9 ground duels. Fair enough. I didn't realize that. Fucking hell. Yeah, honestly, I didn't really see Gusto. Like, defensively, I saw him every now and again, where I felt when I didn't notice him, he was all right, shall I say. But the way the tactics were set up by the manager, Gusto's attacking wasn't there. He had one opportunity to cross, and it was a dreadful cross. So, these duel rates, 2 out of 9. 2 out of 9 is poor. Would you guys give him below average? JC says 6, 6.57 now. You've clearly changed your mind. 5.5. Gusto wasn't at his best today. 6 for me. Gusto was average until the sounds had come on. I don't know, really. I'm going to give him the 6 because I feel he could be more involved going forward if the manager didn't put someone in front of him who stands in the way. So I'm going to give him that ever so slight benefit of the doubt. But the stats, now, you know what? I have to. 2 out of 9 ground duels. Nah, 9. Sorry. I have to. Let's move on to Moises Caicedo, shall we? I thought he started the game well. He was very present, much more than I often see him. A bit aggressive, flying into things without overdoing it. Got himself booked after, let me see, when did he get booked? Pretty much at halftime. When did Petrovic get 83rd minute? So I guess slightly time wasting, maybe. I honestly don't remember how it happened. But yeah, overall, 85% pass accuracy from Caicedo. It's all right, I guess. 3 out of 6 long balls. It's okay. 2 out of 3 tackles, all right. 3 out of 9 ground duels, again, pretty poor. 2 out of 3 errors, all right. I'll give him a 5. What would you guys give Caicedo in total? Caicedo garbage. He got warned like 1 minute before. Okay, after that, stats 5.5. Okay, for Gusto. 6 for possibly playing through injury. Okay, is that for Gusto? Kuzi 5. Caicedo 6.5 from Michael. That's interesting. JC saying 5.5. Again, interesting. I don't hate it fully, but still slightly confused. And again, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that like button for me, by the way. There's quite a few of you watching, so please hit that like button for me right now and subscribe as well if you haven't done that just yet. That would be massively appreciated. We're both near equal poor. See, this is what I find weird again. So we blame Jackson for losing, but we don't blame Enzo for creating the chances for Jackson. Why? Like, it's just a weird way of looking at things for me. You know what? See, I just don't want to be too high, but at the same time, we played a good game with missing chances. Like, the players itself played a good game. I felt the tactics weren't great, but I felt the players themselves, outside of Jackson in particular, and maybe Gallagher and Madueke, but Gallagher is more of, again, his position, just not his position. I felt they were all decent. The midfield obviously gets overrun, but is that a player problem? Is that a tactics problem? I think it's more of a setup problem, but it's also an opponent problem. You know what? I'll give Caicedo 5.5 at least. I don't want to overdo it and be like crazy harsh. That would be overdoing it for me. Enzo, I'll give ever so slightly higher because obviously he did set up, for example, that huge Jackson chance. He had 4 out of 5 long balls, 3 out of 6 ground duels. Okay, it wasn't as many ground duels, but a better ratio than Caicedo had. So I'm gonna give him a 6. What would people give Enzo? Guzzi again, Enzo garbage. After 35 minutes, Enzo was decent. Okay. Maybe he didn't have the best start, absolutely. Enzo's a tricky one because I don't want to sit here and say, oh, he's getting a higher rating than others would because he's playing with an injury. But he is playing with an injury. Like, I've not had a hernia. I've had kind of a hernia when I was really, really young, but I can't really remember it. Just remember being outrageously painful. But what I've spoken to a couple of doctors and what they've told me about it, this what Enzo's going through is extremely painful, and playing with pain injections before every game, not easy. So I'm not giving him an extra rating because of it, but I would say lay off him a little bit when you get very, I don't know, like very critical of them. That's all I'll say. Yeah, I'll give him a 6. Conor Gallagher. I don't even know what to make of Gallagher because in the press he was good. I felt he won the ball back quite a lot. His passing accuracy was actually decent with 75% up there. Is pretty good. 1 out of 3 crosses, 2 out of 4 dribbles, 2 out of 3 long balls. Fucking hell. 2 out of 2 tackles, 5 out of 9 ground. Hold up. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please tell me what you guys thought of? Okay, for playing for an injury 7 for Enzo. It's a bit much because okay, you overdid it. But can you guys please tell me what you thought of Gallagher? Because I just felt that he cost us by him being in the left wing, but him as an individual, I wasn't really sure what I made of it. Looking at the stats, honestly, the stats are good. Like, he creates one of the chance for Jackson too, did he? Honestly, can't remember. I'll be honest. And he kept Gallagher was out of it. Some people are saying, it's a tough one. Did better than expected as a winger, but shouldn't be playing there. Absolutely. Judging by the stats, I'll give him a 6.5. The performance itself was maybe a 7, but because it's out of position, he kind of hindered the team as a whole at times. So that lowers it a bit, but that's not really his fault. So I'm going to say 6.5. Do people think that's too high? I don't know. You should never play as a winger. Absolutely. No, you should never play as a winger. Gallagher, 6.5. Yeah, okay. 7, he was the team's personality. All right. Fair enough. I like it. Let's go to Noni Madueke, shall we? Did he do anything? No. I mean, his passing's good. He only misplaced 1 pass. I can tell you why. Because he passed fucking backwards every time. Why, mate? Why? Usually, you take on your man every time. Every single time. Today, he passed it backwards. Nearly every time. He didn't attempt a single dribble. Noni Madueke didn't attempt a single dribble. And he only attempted 1 cross. He was a winger. Oh my God, he's getting a 2. Fuck off. What a useless, arrogant, selfish prick. Madueke, it's only pissing me right off. Maybe I'm too harsh now, but didn't attempt to dribble and didn't succeed with a cross and only attempted 1. What the fuck is the point? Okay, 2 is too harsh. I'm gonna give him a 3. But even so, because defensively he helped out, ground duels 4 out of 7. Okay, Errol 0 out of 8. 0 out of 3. Tackles 2 out of 2, I guess. But oh my days, no. I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that at all. I'm happy with that at all. Cole Palmer, though, guys. What do you reckon? That when he sent Rodri to the shops in the box, that was nice. But then the follow-up finish was poor. Should have won us a penalty with his free kick. That's not his fault. And then he would have scored the penalty because we all know he scores the penalties. 83 pass accuracy, 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, 1 out of 1 crosses, 4 out of 6 long balls, 2 out of 4 tackles, 6 out of 9 ground duels. Honestly, stats fantastic. 8. Honestly, I didn't think it was phenomenal. Nah, 8 is too high. I don't think it was phenomenal, but when I look at stats, more than anybody else did, and the problem for Palmer is he's not the fastest. He was kind of, if I move it around here, right, he was kind of partly obviously Madueke would stay like a bit here. Then sometimes Palmer would drop as low as here. When it was almost, I'm not saying that's what we did, but almost created like a midfield three like this. And then like being in this area very much. But then obviously he didn't have a left because Gallagher was there. And didn't have a right because Madueke had a bad day. And then he only had the straight through ball to Jackson, which sometimes came off, sometimes didn't. You know what? Because of the stats being good, I'll give Palmer a 7 because I did feel he tried to carry. There was a BBC reported at the beginning of the game that he was playing with strapping around his leg. I'm not sure if that's the case or if that's true. But yeah, should have had an assist or a goal again. Yep, absolutely. Madueke -8. Bit harsh. They're moving a box like Palmer. Other players just look and don't care about the second ball because they haven't learned football from Pep. They're learning football from Poch. But this chat obviously has a go at me when I say Poch is at fault. Because obviously the only thing that happens is the players having chances, and the whole thing about how you create chances, how everybody moves, how everybody acts, the fact that half our team is injured because of the manager. Those are all things that obviously don't play a role, and obviously all is only Jackson's fault. I don't know how I didn't see it. Honestly, I'm surprised. Palmer is the man. Give him a 10. Kuzi, I'm not sure if you're taking a piss anymore. No, I know you meant -8. That's why I'm like, it is a bit hard. Anyway, Palmer was decent. It was hard for him, but he was playmaking pretty well. Yeah, no, I do agree. 7.5 by Ricky. City game plan to keep him covered, and he still had a good game. Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'll give him 7, not quite 7.5, but there you go. And then Nicolas Jackson. I can defend him in terms of that. I don't think we should all pile on him, but I mean, it doesn't really get much worse than this. 86% passing accuracy, but the problem is the chances. 1-on-1 with the keeper, doesn't even end up shooting. There's the header. Now, I'm always a bit more lenient on headers than a lot of other people seem to be, purely from my own experience playing football. I've always felt heading with accuracy, I've always found that very difficult. That's all I'll say. Obviously, I'm no professional footballer, and Jackson should be doing it. But again, he only turned into a striker like 2 years ago. Until then, he was a winger and probably never headed the ball, basically. So it's not surprising that heading isn't exactly a strength of his. 2 out of 2 dribbles, 1 out of 1 long ball, 1 out of 1 tackle, 3 out of 8 ground duels, 2 out of 4 aerial duels. You have to give him a 0 purely for the misses. There's nothing else you can do. Like on it, I mean, 2, he gets a 2 for making 2 good runs. Now, honestly, because of the misses, he has to get a 0. I can't give him anything else. I cannot give him anything else realistically. But we go to the subs because they were great, weren't they? Yeah, fucking amazing. 79th minute. 79 minutes we waited. 79 minutes. Now, I do still wonder if we had a different striker. If, say, Breuer stayed, because I don't think it was Poch that wanted to let Breuer go. If Breuer stayed, I wonder if Breuer would have come on for Jackson after all these misses by Jackson, or whether that wouldn't have happened. Not that it would have made it better, because Breuer isn't doing particularly well. But yeah, 79th minute, Dizazi comes on for Gusto, gets a 0, got absolutely destroyed by Doku and essentially cost us the game. And the other sub was Mudryk coming on for Madueke. Honestly, Mudryk, other than that foul he won and then the follow-up shocking free kick, didn't see anything from him either. So he gets, because it didn't quite directly cost us the game, we're going to give him a 1 because he was shocking either. But I almost want to give him like a 1 with like a 7 in brackets, purely because of how disgraceful it was that it was Madueke that played or not him, especially with how much space there was on the left. Even Jackson was outrunning Walker today. I don't know if Walker was tired or what, but Mudryk would have absolutely destroyed him. And I also just want to finally see Mudryk and walk out of a race. But there you go. At the very end then, after we obviously went the goal down, only 4 minutes after the goal, not straight away, only 4 minutes after. So manager always really, really good again, and absolutely not his fault, of course. He came on with in the 88th minute, and Ben Chilwell came on for Cucurella in the same moment. Didn't see a single thing from Sterling. Chilwell gets a 0 because that situation where he was essentially just had to take an acceptable touch and square it. Instead, he ruins his touch, tries to cross, and fucks it all up. It's just a joke. I can't even remember his corner, but honestly, Gallagher's corners were at least equally as bad. Remember that chance they had early in the game where Gallagher just could get it past the first man. They counted on us and we nearly conceded. That was shocking. When Foden in the end ran round Petrovic, right? Ran round Petrovic, and then kind of Cucurella kind of cleared it off the line. But yeah. Oh, hello, Ollie. Hope you're doing great. Hello, Ollie. Hope you're well. Like and subscribe to Laurenz for the best Chelsea content. Oh, I appreciate you. Big up, Ollie. Yeah, like I say, guys. I know we've spoken about the team and the game at length now, but like I said earlier, I'm this close to not even wanting to watch football anymore because of where the football club is, because of the manager we have, because of because of the referees. Like, when you watch football, every other game, there's some ridiculous wrong decision. Every weekend in the Premier League or in England, there's some ridiculous decision, and it just doesn't stop. And I wonder if it will ever stop, honestly. And it's really making me not want to watch football anymore. Like when it was human error back in the day, and you had normal refs just making mistakes, it was ridiculous and it pissed me off. But it was like, okay, maybe you didn't see it, whatever, this or that. I would still wish, like in Germany, that the refs give interviews, but with VAR, like, everyone saw it. Everyone saw that Grealish touched the ball with his hand in the box, and he moved his hand towards the ball. And it's not given. Like I said earlier, what's the point in having rules in the sport anymore? I honestly don't even see the reason. JC says, also, Laurenz, do you think the Walker stamp on the back of Gallagher should be a red, at least yellow? 100% at least a yellow. Honestly, while it was happening, I was having a shit on the toilet because that was just after halftime. And because I have to head out very soon after this stream, I had to sort a few things during halftime. Then I had to go to the toilet. So I only saw it back after on Twitter. Red, I mean, some refs will give it, but that ref certainly wouldn't have, would he? I was David Coote, United fan. Exactly. So why is he helping City? Think about it. You know what I mean? De Bruyne should have seen the yellow earlier. Absolutely. I mean, half that team should have done. Yeah, because that's the thing. We got robbed 100%. Now, again, obviously, if we get the pen and we score the pen, we're 1-0 up. There's no guarantee that means we win the game. But it puts us in a better position. It puts us in a much better position. And it also, like, probably eases the pressure a little bit, eases the nerves a little bit for the team, and maybe that even leads to Jackson maybe taking one of his other chances after that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But there you go. Do you reckon in 20 years there'll be an investigation? It will be concluded that English referees were on the Man City payroll? Honestly, Joe, no. What I think is in 20 years it will come out that the PGMOL is the most corrupt organization outside of FIFA and UEFA in sports, in world sports. And that I think that they purposely, to gain traction, to gain interaction, to gain controversy, because that brings clicks, that brings, interest, that brings people tuning in. I think they do it on purpose. I genuinely think they do it on purpose, not against one certain team, because City have decisions against them. Liverpool have decisions against them, less so, because Liverpool are Liverpool, especially in Anfield. Even Man United sometimes get decisions against them, less so, again. But even Arsenal, even us, everyone suffers from it, because we're not even just talking about the big games. There was, what was it, Wolves against, was it Fulham the other week, or whenever it was, when they're just so outraged that they equalised so late in the game. And then they just ruled it out when it just shouldn't have. And you're like, you have all the time in the world, just do it. Even without the pen, we should have won the game with at least 3 goals. Yeah, but when people say this, obviously we had slightly bigger chances than City, but Phil Foden was one with our goalkeeper, and he didn't score it. So if you're saying, if only our striker scored the chances, but then you can say if only their striker scored the chances, so it could equally as much still be 3-3. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm saying it's not all on a striker, because it's also on City strikers, and the reason City had so many chances is on Poch, in my opinion. This is what I don't understand. When City have 115 chances, PGMOL, no reason to root for them unless they're getting paid. Yeah, I don't think it's a case of rooting. I think it's a case of incapabilities, keeping things interesting. I don't know. Mostly, I think it's because they're just bad. Mostly. Let me just quickly head over to Twitter one more time and see if anything particularly interesting has been posted in the time that I wasn't here for. What is the point in VAR? Honestly, Poch, I actually agree. Oh, my days. Oh, that is sad. That is sad. I'll show this. Hopefully, won't get copyrighted. But that is very sad. I hadn't seen it initially. Look at Thiago crying, man. Look at Thiago crying. Like, also the fan base, the fans always singing, "Oh, Thiago Silva." Please give him a contract. Like, you can still see he's still a best defender. Like, he's so much better than the Sals. He's so much better than Badiashile. Sure, Colwell maybe, and Fofana if he's ever fit, but he isn't ever fit. Thiago Silva is fit. Thiago Silva is the best. Thiago Silva is experienced. Just keep him, please. Please, Chelsea, keep. I know they won't, so it's completely unnecessary. But yeah. City's players were tired and devastated after the Real's game. Chelsea should finish them, but exactly. What was the least problem today? Well, that's wrong in my opinion, but obviously, I know you guys see it differently. Still not why, but you do. But yeah, Arsenal on Tuesday, so I can't wait for that. That was a joke. I can wait for that, and I hope the game never happens because I feel we're getting destroyed. Season's over, boys, so let's at least derail Arsenal season. Well, in the league, we can easily still get sixth. Absolutely. What on is laughing, that Roman. Joe. I miss Joe. Talent-wise, Callum Hudson-Odoi before his injury was so far superior to any player in our squad outside of Enzo and Palmer. Is crazy. That is actually crazy. Again, talent-wise, I know he didn't show it and the injury obviously killed him. I get that. But purely based off talent, he's so much better than all these players we spend so much money on. It's so crazy. I miss Rubelov's cheek. I do too. Although I actually missed quite a big chance for Milan against Roma in the Europa League. But yeah, I think it's about time to wrap this up because I do need to head out very, very soon. Well, we won't get sixth, and this is where the manager comes into play for me. But we could get sixth because the other teams aren't good either. Like, it's not a case of we are good enough to get sixth, but we're 3 points behind with a game in hand. So, like, we can. I swear RC can play DM better than Caicedo. Maybe. But the problem in it of itself is that we kept playing Ruben at DM for so long when he should never be playing DM. But, yeah, heads must roll on this board. They should, but they won't. We're going to next season Poch. We're going to next season with Stanley, with Stewart, with Barley in charge. What even is the point, man? What even is the point? We'll sell all the players that I like. Nearly. We'll sell Chalobah. We'll sell Gallagher. We'll sell Martin. We'll let Thiago Silva go. Great. Fucking great. Yeah. Today is honestly a good day. And I think I'll use that now to use this to wrap up. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're still here, I appreciate you very much. Hit that like button for me. That would be very much appreciated. Every one of you, please do that. Just one click for a button. It really does help me out. Subscribe if you haven't done that just yet. That would be massively appreciated too. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. I would love to say upwards and onwards, but I can't. So downwards and backwards, and I will. See you next time.